Let me call this meeting of the joint meeting of the House and Senate Veterans Affairs Committees together. Call it to order and welcome all of you here today, particularly all of our guests from the Disabled American Veterans. We appreciate your advocacy for our veterans and your advocacy for our country and your attendance today. In a few minutes, you'll hear from the ranking member of the Senate Committee and the chairman and ranking member of the House Committee, and then we're going to hear from your distinguished leader, commander, who brings a lot of beauty to that position, I might add. I've done a lot of things as an elected official, but kissing a chairman and commander is not one of them, but I did it today. The best part of the job, too. My name's Johnny Isakson. I'm chairman of the Senate Committee, and I'm so proud to serve with the best group of Republicans and Democrats that you could ever put together, because in their heart and in their minds, the most important people in this country are the veterans of our country. And we all spend our committee meeting time and our side time, and there's a lot of side time, believe me. Some of it's in places like the Union Pub. Some of it's in places like the back rooms, no smoke-filled rooms anymore. But working hard to hammer out the right legislation for the Veterans Administration and for our veterans. And as all of you know, we embarked a year ago in January on the most aggressive and significant reform of the Veterans Administration in the history of our country. Now, I don't say that arrogantly or say that in any way other than truthfully, because it was time the VA responded to the 21st century challenges of the 21st century veteran. Our men veterans, our women veterans, all the things that are so different, the battlefield industries that no one ever survived in wars in the past, they survive now. But they survive with injuries that require rehabilitation and prosthesis and things we never even dreamed of a half a century ago. We have responded time and again to see to it the veterans get the very best that we can offer them, and we've tried to make sure that it works. We've put in an accountability piece of legislation and passed it that's already working, and I've had two people stop me today and tell me about situations where, because of accountability, they knew they were getting better services for their veterans that they call on behalf of. We did a 21st century GI Bill, which has modernized the GI Bill to what it ought to be, because we have a different military today than we had when the first GI Bill was written. You know, when Rumsfeld was Secretary of Defense and they went through transformation, they said, you know, the first thing we're going to do is make our military seamless from reserve and National Guard to active duty, so that any one soldier is ready at any one time to carry out the mission. And we said in the veterans business, well, if you're asking that of your veteran, you've got to see to it those benefits they get are equal with those that are full-time and regular. And we have done a good job, I think, in the last 3 years, actually longer than 3 years, of modernizing the benefits for our reserve, our National Guard, and equalizing treatment for those veterans. And I've been very proud to be a part of that with my ranking member, John Tester from Montana. John and I both agreed when we started this journey, really I guess 2 years ago, together, that we were going to do whatever it took to work as a team to get the VA, the veterans and the employees of the VA administration, everything they needed to do the job. And then we were going to show people that we were willing to enforce it if they didn't think we would. And so far we've been able to do that, and I thank you for the support y'all have given us as one of the VSOs and backed us up on things that when people would call you up and say, did you know they're doing X, Y, or Z? You said, yeah, I knew. They said they were going to do it, and they told us they were, and they're right. And y'all have given us that support all the way through. I want to thank you for your focus as an organization on the women veterans of America. One of the things that I started addressed in my first speech to your group 2 years ago, I took from your original statement then, was that we need to recognize as those who provide the benefits to our veterans that we have women veterans and we have men veterans, and they're all veterans and they're veterans alike. And the women deserve the unique services that a woman needs, just like there are unique services men need. But we wanted to see to it everybody had equal access to service, health care, in the most modern service possible. And we spend a lot of time doing that. And the women members of our committee, Ms. Hirono, for example, in the Senate, is doing a great job of seeing to it that we remain focused on that. The Appeals Modernization Act, I can't yet brag like I want to about how good it is, but I got a sneaking suspicion I'm right. And I hope I'll hear in the testimony today that you have tangible evidence that those who have been given the opportunity to convert from being in a waiting pending status to getting quicker action under the new plan are liking it. And I know for a fact, some of you have, because I know for a fact 2 of you have told me you did already. One of the biggest and most painful things was for me to try and explain over and over again back in Georgia to a Georgia veteran or the spouse of a veteran or the mother and dad of a veteran why they couldn't get an answer on an appeal that was 678 days old, 2 years old, 3 years old, or longer. We didn't ask them to wait on the battlefield until they were ready to go. They had to be ready to go when the battle was there. We ought to be ready to go as providers of that benefit, and we're going to continue to do so. So I thank the Disabled American Veterans for all their contribution they've made to this committee and to our joint committees. I know Chairman Rose arrived, and I want to turn it over to him in just a minute. I think that's the order I go to. But we know we're all here for you. Lastly, it's Tyncey Lynch in the audience. Tyncey, would you stand up? You're so quiet. This lady, let me tell you how important what y'all do is. I met Tyncey 3 years ago in Atlanta when I was asked to become chairman of the Veterans Committee. I went to the VA hospital where Leslie Wiggins at the time was the director. She's now the Vision 7 leader. I met Tyncey, and there ain't nothing Tyncey about Tyncey, let me tell you. If she sees me in the airport, she doesn't need a megaphone to yell me down. She just starts talking, and I know immediately that she's after me. She is a great advocate for America's disabled veterans, a great advocate for your organization, an officer of your organization, and I want to publicly thank her for what she does to help me do the job that I do every day. Tyncey, we're glad you're here today. Welcome. Lastly, are there any other members from, I know they're all the folks from Georgia, please stand. Well, God bless you. Thank you for being here. Now for his opening remarks, it's my real pleasure to introduce the chairman of the House Veterans Affairs Committee, Dr. Rowe. Doctor, it's been a pleasure to work with you these last 2 years. I look forward to the years ahead. And I just tell the audience we are very, very fortunate to have a man of his capability and experience in a leadership role in the United States House and for the Veterans Administration.